All right. What's up, everybody? It sounds really quiet. Hold on.
Technical difficulties.
Technical. Oh, it's probably because we're not even here.
Oh, okay. Share the mic.
Hello. All right. I think we're good. What's up, everybody? This is Podcast X. I am T-Bear. This is MackMan right here.
Good morning, Heine P. Welcome.
We are all that stuff.
All that good cultural stuff. We're here to have a good discussion today. I'm trying to be less winded this time because I tend to draw things out. So I'm going to be less talkative today.
Less talkative today? All right. That's how we are, but it's okay. It's all good conversation. We're on episode 4 right now, episode 4 of Podcast X. We're discussing episode 6 of X-Men 97, which is Life, Death Part 2, like we did last week. Well, something new. We're actually doing a Saturday, which was the original plan. But we got other things to do tomorrow, so that's why we're going Saturday. If we freeze up, we're going to try to catch it. We got it running on the TV, on the phones, so hopefully we catch it if we freeze up.
Yeah, we apologize. I was frozen last time, and we will try to avoid that next time.
Just change your name to Iceman. Get it? Frozen.
Yeah.
Or Tin Man.
Tin Man.
Yeah, anyway. I need my oil again. Episode 6, like we said, Life, Death, Part 2. This is an episode you're kind of excited for? Well, like the storyline anyway. But I think the episode, as you'll see in our ratings later down the road.
Are we still using like the same heads that we said last time?
Yeah. Okay. But we can switch them later.
Next time we'll switch them. Okay.
Okay. Like I said, Life, Death Part 2. On Life, Death Part 1, it covered Jubilee, kind of getting through to her, transitioning from an adult to, well, a teenager to a young adult. She goes through that stuff with Mojo and the video game and whatnot. And then the other part of it was Storm was with Forge, who can build anything, basically. He's really smart. And she's trying to get her powers back. He made a machine to give her powers back. Didn't work right away. We don't know if it worked. At the end of that episode, we didn't know we came across that demon anniversary bird guy. And we're kind of left there. You know, they're in that cabin. It ends with the bird being wrapped around Storm. It bit Forge, and he's got some virus thing going on, so that's where we kind of left off with that.
STDs going on there.
Yeah, some STIs or something. STIs. Anything you want to add before we get started?
No, we'll just get right into it. Yeah, we'll just get right into the episode.
All right. We are pressed on time today. We got some things to take care of. Tomorrow's a busy day for both of us, so this one might be a little rushed, but the original goal, like we said, Saturday mornings, 20 to 30 minutes. We'll be lucky if we get done in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But all right, so something I caught, like we did, like I said, I'm going to go over the intro. Frog's going to go over the beginning. I'll go over the middle. Then Mackie will cover the end. And then we'll kind of likes and dislikes. Get into, what's after that? Our ratings. And then if we have time, we'll bring on a special guest again. And we'll play a quick game if we have time. So, intro, Storm. Previously on. Did you catch that?
I just want to show our merch off real quick.
Oh yeah,
no,
well this ain't our merch, but these are new shirts that I got. I'm on camera right now. Okay. I'll show you. I got a Wolverine shirt. Shout out to Target. Oh, that's something we can shout out though. Can you show your shirt real quick?
As you see, this is my favorite here.
Not WandaVision.
Not Wanda. Oh wait. Second favorite. Sorry.
X-Men. Yeah. Favorite X-Men?
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man's not X-Men.
No, he's not.
Okay. Sorry to shoot you down. But...
It's all right. You kind of threw me out there for our fans. Now I'm conflicted. Nah.
Mackie said merch. We do have merch coming soon. There's a screen, or hopefully it popped up there in time. You're kind of still behind. But there's merch coming soon. We'll have a couple different shirt options for you guys. And if you're interested, stay tuned. We'll probably be wearing the merch next episode, actually. So hopefully it's everything. The stars align.
Big shout out to T-Bear for making all of this happen. Amazing things that he's doing for us. And yeah.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it. We're glowing up.
We're glowing up. So stay tuned for the merch. It's coming. All right. Intro, like I said, Storm said the previously on, and then we're starting to learn that when the previously on, whoever says it is kind of
who they're focusing on for the episode.
Who they're focusing on the episode. Okay, I gotta fix that. That camera's mixed up. I'll fix that later. So we don't have a split screen camera. We do have a widescreen though.
Okay.
But whatever, we'll wing it. Okay. Storm said previously on Magneto's missing. Did you notice?
Oh, yes. Okay, so you kind of put me on to like start noticing these things, and I started.
Out of whack.
Is it? What's going on here? Our production's going down. Someone's hacking our production. We're faulty. Yeah, that's one thing I kind of started noticing. I was like, who starts the and previously on, and then also like who's in the intro, and I noticed that I was like, oh, Magneto is not in this.
I didn't catch it the first time through. I watched it again and caught it. Nightcrawler's in there.
Nightcrawler this
time. At a cost. He replaced Gambit.
Oh, he did.
It happened because it was Rogue, and then it shows Rogue and Gambit or something, and then it would go to Gambit's intro. So let's have a moment of silence. Moment of silence.
Everybody
for
shut
Gambit. Up. Okay.
All right.
Shout out to Gambit.
He'd be right back.
No longer intro.
He'd be back.
Gambit is outski, and I saw a meme. That
spoiler alert. No, I'm just kidding. I have to throw that in there every episode, even though we tell her.
Just tells me. I saw that meme with remember when Thanos is talking to little Gamora? He's like, "What it cost you?" Everything. So, like it said that. It shows Nightcrawler's intro clip of being intro. What it cost you? Everything. So that made me. And I think we froze our first freezing.
Oh shit!
So we'll go to our wide camera real quick. Wide webcam. It'll reset those other cameras, and hopefully we're back. We're back.
That's why we need sponsors. We need better equipment. So throw us those damn money in dollars. Nah.
Dollar bill, y'all. All right, so Nightcrawler was added. They replaced Gambit with Nightcrawler. Magneto was missing. Nimrod made an appearance. I didn't know who he was.
I didn't either.
I got down here. He's a super advanced sentinel from the future. Basically like the Terminator. I didn't. That's his official name. I just thought that was kind of a Nimrod.
Yeah,
it's like funny.
You're Nimrod.
Like
yeah,
it's Nimrod. And then just hear people giggling in the background. Nimrod.
And I was telling Mr. Bear, T-Bird here that I kind of go back and forth. I watch the old ones and then the new ones, and it's crazy how like I'll just kind of pick a random episode and it lines up with kind of what we're talking about each time. So like last time I was watching an old one and Nimrod was on there, and he's like a super sentinel come back from time, and like they have those like time bands, and
bracelets.
if they
use the same thing that Cable and them use.
Yeah, and if they mess that up, then they go back to where they were. So I didn't know that. I thought they just came back and they stayed there, but they need those bracelets to stay there.
Bracelets. Well, how come Bishop got to stay? That's weird. Because he wasn't wearing his, right? The whole time he was with the X-Men.
Well, he kind of took it off one time. Yeah, so I don't know.
Time travel.
Continuity error.
Chaos.
It's chaos.
Trying to make it up.
Yeah, got you.
Promotion. So I have basically like the Terminator Nimrod is. There's a scene in the intro with Bishop, Storm, and Wolverine blow up Nimrod. I don't know if it's actually him or if it's like a clone of him, or if that's why he's so powerful because he can make clones of him.
Yeah, I would say like, is there only just one, or is like a army of them?
I thought they were fighting multiple at one point.
Did you notice though? Like, I don't know if you noticed, but in that brief intro, it showed Wolverine in his like yellow and black costume without the mask.
The black shirt?
Yeah. No, it was like
a black shirt.
Was it a black shirt?
Because I think I had that written down. Episode, animated, Bishop. So just to touch base on that, okay, Frog brought it up. I did go back and catch it. Or like I saw something different. And first it was Storm. I noticed she was like in black, right, in the intro. So I went back and said, it's Storm, so she's getting her powers back. Black? But it was a callback. It was a callback to a previous episode where they fought Nimrod. The episode, which you could probably go back and find. There's a time traveler, and I wrote this down, that went back and killed a teenage Professor X, so it created an alternate universe, and that's the one where Storm has her mohawk, and her and Wolverine are in love. They got a thing. So, like I said, chaos. The Imperial Guard fighting the X-Men. That's the Shi'ar people. And then Professor X and the Langer kiss, and then it kind of goes into the episode.
Don't get me started on a Shi'ar.
You're shaking your head on that. You're not feeling the Shi'ar?
Shi'ar, Leandra.
All right.
Yeah, we'll just get into it.
We'll save it for the episode. Beginning, space battle and introduction of the galactic marriage is what I got for the beginning. And the middle, I got Storm and Forge. So I'll cover Storm and Forge, and then the end would be kind of
when they're in a school kind of mindset.
Yeah, they're in the school when Big Man comes back and she gets her,
Okay.
All right, so space battle and galactic marriage.
So we open up with this episode in a space battle. There's spaceships and things going on. And we see an amazing kind of, I don't know if this is the first time we've seen him in an animated series, but this is the first time I've seen him. So I was shocked to know, but we see Ronan, part of the Kree army there. And what is her name?
This is a Ronan, the purple guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the purple guy.
But he's more comic book accurate
on this one. Yeah,
I thought that. I was like, is that the Ronan from?
Yeah, it took me a couple times to kind of read it because he kind of was just like a little cameo in there. You know what I mean? But so Deathbird, which is was it Leandra? Lalandra's sister, comes darting through and wrecks the scene, and it was just kind of like throwing Ronan around. You know what I mean? He didn't have no chance, whatever. And so her group of teams were with her, Gladiator, and a few others that I'm not really familiar with, so I kind of have to do more research on them. But anyways, they're about to kind of execute his fellow soldiers, and then one of her servants come in and says, hey, there's a message from the Empress. And there's like, oh, of course, everything time for my sister. So then
kind of like all nonchalant.
Yeah, and it's like
bothered.
It stopped everything. I was like, okay, so this is really important. So then they have a hologram, and then it pops up, and it shows that holograms on different worlds and things like that. So it's obviously a broadcasted message, whatever. But basically, Lalandra.
You'll get it.
Okay.
I had to write it down and practice it.
But I have it on here. I'm just like, that is, Lalandra Nirami.
I didn't get her last name, but yeah, Lalandra.
And so she's just basically sharing, like, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but she's going to marry a Terrian, and that's going to be Charles Professor X. And not a lot of people are really pleased with this announcement. If you look on the video or the episode, the crowd is just like gasped.
Kind of like stunned.
Yeah, like,
their facial expressions.
What the heck? Yeah, and so, and like...
a Terran is what the galactic people, the people out in the galaxies, they call us Earth people, Terrans, right? The Homo sapiens, or however you want to word it.
Right.
They refer to us as Terrans. I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. For our new viewers, yeah. And I didn't know that either, so I'm getting educated as we go through these episodes too.
They did use that term on Guardians.
They did, huh? I know that you did that.
Nova or something. Yeah, they just a callback.
See, Mr. Bear catches a lot. Mr. T Bear here. So their race is called the Shi'ar, and so there's this guy also named Araki. And so once that was announced, he just didn't care. He just kind of like grunted, like, "Oh, what the hell?" And so she even said, kind of like, "Joyous news in times of war. This is something that I wanted to announce and put out there." And so, like I said, nobody really rejoiced when that was happened. And so she introduces Charles, Professor X, out there, and just saying, "This is who I'm gonna be married to." And so then it cuts to them in a garden, and they're just kind of talking like, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, being married. And then Charles is kind of poking at her, like saying, how would you feel ruling from my corner of the galaxy? Meaning, like, let's go stay at Earth and rule from there. Earth. and rule from there. And his partner is just kind of like really not kind of entertaining the idea, and he asked her, well, can you just kind of consider it? But one thing that kind of like stuck out to me, she says, families often mimic black holes, and it shows a black hole in the background. You visit and risk being stuck in an ever spiraling vacuum of dramas. I was like, holy, that's a lot of it's a lot of words. Yeah. But it kind of connected to me too. Like, she's just kind of saying, like, because previously her brother tried destroying things, previously on X-Men 96 episode. The previous seasons. And So she's kind of familiar with how family can be a little maybe not as welcoming and comforting as Charles has an idea of family, you know. And she even says like, "You miss your kids. Why don't you just invite them to our wedding?" And then he kind of has like a look like, And then she's like, "Are you just kind of worried that, or you fear that you think they think you banded them?" And so there's just kind of these things going back and forth. And another quote that I like too, she said, "Charles, the virtue of a teacher lies in showing their students how to walk on their own." And he responds back, "True, only if there are no more lessons he can teach them." And so I just thought that was really amazing. You know what I mean? Like Liliandra's trying to like encourage him, like let them grow and learn on their own. But then he's kind of like feeling I still have more to teach for them, you know? So kind of some inner conflict there, and so that's kind of where they're at with that, wanting to go back there and stuff like that. Because then as a royalty, we'll call them royalty, they can kind of go rule wherever they want to. They just have to decide. But wherever they rule, that's kind of where their race is stationed at, or something like that, from the conversations on here or whatever. And so okay, so then we switch over to Storm after this. Is that where you take on from here?
Yeah, I'll take on. I got that part. Just for the record, this is the first time seeing Professor X alive, actually, in the 97 series, and Mackie admitted that he thought he was dead.
So he
didn't remember me saying he's taking a leave of absence.
So I told T-Berry here, I was just like, I didn't know he was still alive. I had to go back and watch the last episode of 96 and he never really was officially confirmed dead. And so that's why T-Bear here was like, yeah, I told you that he took a leave of absence. I was like, oh yeah, that's what you meant. So sorry. When
she introduces him as her soon-to-be husband, he comes in walking is a big thing. And it's the suit that he has on. It's an exoskeleton that gives him the ability to walk. That's why when they go in after the garden scene, they sit down. You see her take his suit off, and he actually has to sit down.
Right.
So, pretty, not really action. Well, I guess the little battle was kind of okay for action at the beginning. The galactic battle with Ronan and whatnot. Little nice callback to Ronan. Do you know who's voicing Professor X? Because the original guy, he retired. I don't think he's dead.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. I don't know.
But it's Ross Marquand. I think that's how he said his last name. Okay. But he did the Red Skull he acted as Red. He's a voice impersonator. He played on The Walking Dead too. He's the guy that gets one arm, one hand.
Oh, he's a good guy.
You should look him up. He's got some good clips of like some voice stuff. So.
Did you know? Okay, this is kind of a little bit off subject, but you know, last time I was talking about reminiscing about that Wolverine game. So it's called Wolverine's Revenge, and so I was just like watching gameplay and stuff like that. Guess you would never in a million years guess who voiced that Wolverine in that game, and I never knew that.
Famous actor?
Yes, very famous.
Christian Bale.
No.
Close?
No.
Wow, if I'm never gonna guess, I'll give one more guess.
It's Star Wars related.
Star Wars related?
He's in the Star Wars franchise.
The Hayden guy. Nope. No? Who is it?
It is Mark Hamill.
Really?
Luke Skywalker. Wow. I didn't know that, and because I was looking, I didn't.
Yeah, he's a voice actor because he plays Joker too.
Yeah,
huh?
And so like when I was listening to like his dialogue, I was like, who is this? So then I looked on the credits. I was like, that's Mark Hamill. Then when you start listening to it, you can kind of hear him. I'm like, what the frick?
I have to go back and look at that. Yeah. Shout out to Mark Hamill. He's in the DC end.
Yeah,
not the first person, but that's still pretty cool. That is cool. All right, back to episode. So we left off Life Death Part 2, like we said. Storm and Forge. Forge got bit by the anniversary. He's infected. The bird, the big death bird. You know, not death bird from earlier.
Oh yeah, there's technically two death birds.
I don't know if it's a she. The bird, the anniversary.
The bird's non-binary. No, I'm just kidding.
Non-binary bird. All right, the huge ass owl admits and says there's no cure for her poison. Basically, it's poison. Sorry, it's poison. So Storm's stuck trying to comfort Forge and basically still trying to deal with this bird that's kind of guilt tripping that we froze.
We froze?
Yep. Not that long. We got it. We're good. We're wide. Okay. Just stay in the wide camera until that freezes.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to read what I wrote down kind of throughout the episode. Storm's tending to Forge. Bird's guilt tripping her about thinking about being human. Remember she said that to Storm earlier in the series. Ends up locking her in a coffin and plays with her by projecting itself as evil X-Men. So one of Storm's fears is that she's claustrophobic.
And so like I said, I go back and forth the old season and this new season. I'm just like re-educating myself all over again. I didn't know Storm was claustrophobic. So like a lot of these upcoming pieces you talk about, she's really confined into spaces. Yep.
So she's claustrophobic, so that bird kind of put her in the coffin to kind of make her face her fears and whatnot. Ends up she gets out of the coffin but falls back into the living room, you know, like again when she did it in the other episode and we thought it was like a simulation or whatever, but
so we never really I
don't think it is. I think it's something to do with magic, and I was gonna. Okay. You know, Forge comes running in with his mom's book of Doctor Strange's magic, sends Bird away, and he's weak, but mentions a magic cactus that only grows in darkness / a cave. So I think it has something to do with magic. The bird.
Midnight Chola is what the that
is that what it's called?
That flower, whatever they're talking about. Yeah.
All right. So they just to go off of that real quick. Forge comes in with the magic, and he has his arm out, and did it give you Doctor Strange vibes?
It did.
Even the spell itself.
For a reason, I thought Doctor Strange was making an appearance real quick. I was like, what's going on here? I was like, all right.
But it was Forge with his mom.
But it's just a native cyborg.
Just native, native cyborg. So yeah, that's. I thought that was cool. I did notice that right away. I paused it and had to rewind it and look at the magic. I was like, that looks just like Doctor Strange magic.
The spell symbols and stuff.
Yeah, the orange.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny, they never really reference like Doctor Strange or Mystic Arts in that part, so maybe like we'll get a little bit more into that or something, because like they just said my mom's magic, so I'm like, well, that's kind of similar. It says Doctor Strange your mom and Doctor Strange your dad, you know what's going on here? Did Doctor Strange come onto the reservation?
So from there it cuts back to space, where Professor X has to like prove his love to Lilandra by erasing his memory, right? Is that on the right?
Yeah.
I put Professor X and Marvel Superman Gladiator chat about Shi'ar gods, and where he says the Gladiator guy says the core of our principles is to bind various cultures into one for the sake of galactic peace and harmony. And then Professor X, being educated all, says, how Rudyard Kipling of you. You know who Kipling was?
I don't, but I'm pretty sure it's like a Terran. No, I didn't.
I looked it up. I had to look into it. I was like, who the hell is this now? It's because it's Professor X, like you said, educated. So obviously he called him a name for a reason. All right, we're not frozen. We're good. So he says that how Rudyard Kipling of you, and one possessed, and Professor X continues on to say, one possessed of many burdens, none real. You want me to just go through the episode? We'll come back to that. You want me to stay on the topic and talk about it?
I feel like I will lose it, so I would go into it if I were you.
So Kipling was English, and I wrote this all out. English author and a poet. He wrote The Jungle Book. So it's a kid's movie, right? Like beloved in its different alliterations of adaptations of it. But he wrote The Jungle Book. And he also wrote a poem called The White Man's Burden. Which basically says it's the duty of the white man to spread across the world and civilize it by their terms.
So hold on now.
So going back to what Gladiator guy said, the core of their principles was to bind various cultures into one for the sake of galactic peace and harmony. So can you see where it kind of
comes up? And I think kind of that concept too, Xavier covers it in the third act too, so we'll just come back to that part.
We'll go back to that. But you're right on. That's the duty of the white man. All right, so that theme carries back over to Storm and Forge entering the cave where the magic plant, what was it called?
Midnight Chola.
Maybe our guest can explain what Chola is. The magic plant is. Forge explains how the cave was used to store military weapons and supplies during the Civil War, but it was really built in the Plains War, decades before the Civil War, by colonists. Storm reminds him that those colonizers wiped out Forge's people. His response is, I always heard how the worst weapon used by the Europeans was not bullets or blankets, but a white lie.
Oh.
Native American cyborg.
Oh, Native American cyborg. You're getting me. You get me wound up.
All right, so from there, Forge kind of passes out, of course. It's not an X-Men episode unless someone passes out.
Someone's fainting or passing out.
He's weak. He can't move on. Storm got to go and kind of crawl through caves. Again, she's in her...
So I kind of like that part, too, because then he even says, he's like, well, I came for a reason because you're going to have to crawl through that. And he points over and it's like a really...
tight space.
Yeah, and I'm like... Oh shoot, you know, and then like
we mentioned, she's claustrophobic.
Yeah.
So
I think this is awesome though, like with like her, we knowing like her, she's claustrophobic. Like that shows like she's a Omega level threat mutant, but she still has these weaknesses of her own that she has to battle with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're not fully powerful.
Real life, like people still go through that. So like people can relate on a whole different level. Like, hey, claustrophobic superhero, like I got that. I could be a superhero too. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're Omega level threat
Brian.
mutant, what would Brian? If you were Brian, what would be your weakness like right now?
Yeah.
Now, what would be your weakness?
Asking me?
Yeah. What is something you're scared of?
I'm trying to think of what I'm scared of. I'm not really scared. Like scared of a lot of things. I don't think. I don't like snakes. I mean, I don't like touching them, but like I don't like snakes. I guess. It's crazy because my mom don't like snakes. She told us this dream. It's kind of way off topic. Not really, but she used to work down at Neola Walker building. You know, like the old where they do the newspaper stuff.
Yeah.
And she had a dream where she went into work after hours or something, and like I said, she's scared of snakes. But this time, she like opened a door or something in her dream, and there's this big ass snake that popped up and had a Batman face. So, comic related.
So she's scared of snakes and Batman now.
Something, I don't know. I think, but I don't like snakes. I don't think I'm scared of them. If I have to grab one, I'll grab one. Oh, you know what's funny? Like mice.
Yeah.
When I see a mouse, like it just fucking makes me jump.
Yeah. No, I love the vulnerability. Yeah, it's fucking
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You? What was your Omega level threat?
I'm good. Let's move forward. No, I'm just kidding. Me?
Put out a paper. I don't hold it.
Mine would be commitment. No, I'm just kidding. No, my fear kind of like similar to yours, like snakes, spiders. I don't know if I had
squash the shit out of a spider, but a big ass spider.
So I got a story too. So when I used to work with Morningstar Counseling, they had an office in Walt Hill, Nebraska. Check us out. Check them out if you're looking for mental health services. Morningstar Counseling, no free. Oh, and this is not a paid sponsorship. Anyways, that place just gets spiders in a nice time of the year, and like there'd be spiders crawling and stuff, and I'm like, Dad, you got to get this spider. I can't do it. And then he'll get it and he's going to kill it. I said, no. I said, just grab it and take it outside. You don't want to kill it. I didn't say kill it. Just get out of the building.
It's got a family.
Yeah. Oh, I think about that.
It has a family.
Like it has a whole life, you know. What if someone swooped you up and killed you? But he's like, man, fuck this. He's like, you either want this out of there or not. He said, I'm killing it. So he would kill it and take it out. Like, no. But yeah. So like, I would be similar to you. Like, I don't know. Like, I was even thinking, like, as a superhero, I don't know if I'd be able to fly because, like, heights scare the shit out of me.
But you know, like, because you can fly, would you be scared of heights then? You know.
And I think that's kind of why Storm is like scared of like enclosed places because she's so out in the open, and then she's not. Yeah. So kind of similar to you, I would say like either heights and then snakes and spiders. I probably could do mice, but
it's funny because it's like think about Batman and your comic book people. Like, well, Batman in general. Like, Batman's scared of bats. Well, was scared of bats. It reminded him of a dark place, so he embraced it.
As
you gotta embrace.
Then I was a fucking spider and snake,
and
man.
Show him your cup, you know, Spider-Man. Show him spiders and
not a free sponsorship.
Maybe trying to embrace it. Not a sponsorship. All right, let's get back on track here real quick. Good stories. His response always said that back to space. Professor X said he would wipe his memory to Mary Lalandra. They asked him a couple questions. Are you willing to forget this? Are you willing to forget that? And then the question comes up, will you forget your X-Men? And he hesitates and he doesn't answer. So then Deathbird or whatever basically says, I told you so. The council says that to the council, and then that her sister Lilandra is insane and that she should forfeit her throne to Deathbird, who's kind of who I found out is kind of like after her throne. Mm-hmm. Like you said, she's done some shady. I think she worked with Thanos in the past and stuff like that. Not really a spoiler alert because that was an animated series. So like,
come on now.
Should forfeit her throne to her. Fight breaks out. I put Marvel Superman moment. Professor X then takes them to class mentally. I keep saying Marvel Superman because I thought that was like, this dude's basically Marvel Superman.
Yes.
Because that's the first thing. He's flying. Super strength. I feel like everyone's got super strength in Marvel. But he's flying around. He hits her, Deathbird, who's pretty strong.
He was flying, yeah.
She was flying.
It's crazy because he started out the episode on her side and then...
Yeah, he just showed, I think, and I thought that too, but it shows like his...
Loyalty, right? Or yeah, it's commitment to like the...
Who he's supposed to be. Like in that moment at the beginning, that his loyalty was to like his group leader, whatever, Deathbird. But then going back to the throne, the castle, whatever, he's loyal to the throne. But yeah, he's flying, hits her, and then he hits somebody with laser beams. Superman. And then he does the one last thing with the wind blow thing, like he goes like that, which is like, all right, it's fucking
Superman.
Yeah. So, and then X takes him to class mentally. Yeah, it's a moment like he's actually trying to fight around too, but he's let's say paraplegic or
handicap.
What movie was that? You ever watch sorry, it's way off topic again, but this is fun conversation. You ever watch what was it, Spy Kids?
Yeah.
The
grandpa?
The video game? He says you get one lifeline, you can bring somebody in to help you. And Junie, I think that's his name, he's going through his family. Then it gives like qualities and pros and cons basically, but he's friendly. It's ugly to say, but it's funny. And then the title on the YouTube page is like, how did this get allowed to be into a movie? But Spy Kids is like, what, 2010?
That was
a while ago.
I think it was before that, yeah, because that was a vibe.
Yeah, so like, anyway, his grandpa comes up. His grandpa's in a wheelchair. I'm not knocking people in wheelchairs, but he, it says extremely intelligent, and then con, it says, fuck, what did it say? I can't remember. Something about like being handicapped or wheelchair or limited or something, and I was like, I feel like I'm going to hell for laughing.
Because it's like it's like they're kind of poking at it, right? Yeah, and you're like, how did this make it into a child's film? All
right, let's go. Professor X, back to Professor X. He's on the ground. I think they took his exoskeleton legs off, so he can't walk. And then he says, "I had a moment in his head. I forgot my greatest gift, my greatest power." And then he goes into their minds, and like I said, he takes them to class. Literally, took them to a classroom in the mentally astral plane. I think they said it was the astral plane where he takes them, and literally in like a classroom scene, he's standing, he's in his OG uniform. And I want to make a quick call out, like somebody pointed out that his greatest weapon or greatest tool was not his mutant abilities, but being a teacher. So that's where he took him to a classroom, and that was, because he could have easily like just mind controlled them and made them all stop. But instead, he took them to a point where he could like teach them and try to. So I thought that was pretty
educate them, yeah.
Educate them, yep. So that's what I got for the middle. Okay. I feel like I covered everything.
A few things I did want to
go for it.
Point out for your section there. It just really kind of blew my mind because, like, on planet Earth, they mutants are just kind of already like treated ugly and saw differently. You know what I mean? But it's even interesting to see out into the galaxy. Because then Deathbird makes a comment like, I don't want his freaky fluids mixed with our people or something like that. And then he's not even a full Terran. He's, half Terran, whatever.
I think she calls him a mutant. Like, he's a mutant. Like,
and just like really, they have like a really ugly idea for mutants. You know what I mean? And I just kind of like, it kind of touched me a little bit. Because like, even how far away they're from Earth, the mutants are still
got to deal with that stuff.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, that's so ugly, And then even she references Professor X's the Milky Way ghetto, new throne world. I don't want it to be the new throne world. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're getting hardcore on here. Right. And they called it inferior home world and all that. But yeah, so I just thought that was an interesting concept that I just like, man, leave my mutants alone, man. They're trying. But that was just one thing I wanted to point out for that section.
It's like you said, just the it's an animated show, but it still touches base on like real problems that people go through every day, like race. I feel like that's all. As much as we don't want it to be a problem, I feel like it's always going to be out there. And then just like with that, and as we mentioned about like the stuff that happened in the past with Native Americans and like the colonizers and all that stuff, that stuff happened, and I think you gotta accept it and to know that it happened, accept that it happened, so you can learn from it, so it doesn't happen again moving forward. So yeah, ending.
So we come back to Aurora and Forge here. I don't think we ever hear Forge's real name. I don't think they've ever established a real name for Forge, but so we'll just call him Forge. Yeah. No. And so Aurora's like going through this really tight space, climbing through, looking for, and then she hears that adversary's kind of how he groans, or her groans, and you could then it shows he reveals himself. And so she's just kind of climbing, and then the rocks and stuff kind of start coming in on her and closing in on her, and she's just like freaking out, and then the screen kind of goes all black, and then finally she just kind of has this turning point where she embraces what she's going through and her fear in a way, because in the adversary the adversary just kind of reminds her, like, you said you wanted to be human, or thought what it would be like, and and she even said, like, you Forge didn't rob your gifts, you renounced them yourself when you made that statement to Jean, saying you think about being human. So anyways, she gets this moment of like empowerment and
realization.
Yeah, realization. And then a wide screen shows they're in the storm starts kind of forming around the what would you got, tower? What would, like, rock tower?
The cliff.
Yeah, mountain. So like you see her powers are coming back, and then she gets really empowered, and then I noticed like this was kind of different, like yellow electricity starts coming and then just kind of forms around her, and she pushes those rocks away, and then she ends up kind of blowing the adversary away, and then it goes all the way up to space, and it's like so powerful. And then she starts taking flight, and she almost transforms into a new Storm. So she gets her hair back, no like mohawk anymore. Her suit is black, and she has like a kind of a crown with it, and so she's like soaring, and then she goes she even flies like by the Shunkates, the horses. The Shunkates, the horses.
I was watching it, and there it says Pancos in Spanish.
Oh, Pancos.
Pancos.
And so
which is horse.
It was kind of a cool drawback where she was riding a horse, and now she was riding with the horse. You know what I mean? So it's like she's free and stuff like that. And so yeah, so that's kind of where that was. And then we come back to the astral plane where Professor X is meeting with.
Well, she did. Sorry, but Storm did find the flower.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, the flower.
You gonna fly?
She flew away. She didn't even. She left Forge. Forge, sorry, boo boo.
No, but she did find the midnight Chula. Is that Chola?
Yeah.
Gets back to Forge, and they have a moment, and she basically says, the adversity kind of helped her get her powers back, and by accepting her fears, or embracing her fears, that's what was kind of holding her back. I mean, sorry, like I said, to cut you off, but no, it was just remember, Forge did put her in that machine, and from there her powers didn't work because she was still seeing that adversary, so she was having doubts and stuff. So Forge's machine did work, but it was her holding herself back because of the fears and stuff, and that's why that adversary came around, because she still had stuff to get over. So I was kind of right. I think I did say something like that.
Good. Right? I'm glad you put that down, because that was a question for you, and you kind of answered it. I was like, do you think it was more of Storm that made it happen, or was it the machine? But you kind of feel like it was a little bit of both.
Yeah, honestly, it was kind of both.
So. But yeah, so then they're all kind of lovey-dovey now that affection's going away, she puts the chola on her.
The chola.
And on him, and it's going away, and then they're kind of like, well, you know, not newlyweds, but they're like, well, we can go to the beach or something like that. She said, yeah, that doesn't sound half bad. And then he's just like laying in bed and puts a TV on. Oh, yeah, and then that's when they both see the aftermath of Genosha. And like Storm is really affected because then she just starts crying, whatever. And then Forge is on the bed just like mouth open, kind of like, whoa, what the heck? You know what I mean? So that, and it cuts there to the astral plane there. So I did miss a few key points there. But yeah, so then Professor X is in there explaining about their concept of their culture and how like they go around, and he has like this little animation of where like there's people growing in the crops, yeah, and then like people are coming and tilling it away, or even cutting them at the knees and saying that they need them, and he's referring to the Shi'ar. Yeah, the Shi'ar. And so, because he even asked, like, what is your culture? They say, what is your culture based on? And I said, power or something like that. And then he said, no, your culture is based on, I can't remember. But anyway, basically just kind of like taking these cultures and kind of pushing them down and then making them theirs and stuff like that. Kind of going back to like that person he referenced. What was his name? Kipling, yeah. Yeah. And so, I didn't know he made that poem. That just kind of gave me cringe when he said that, but like it's a white man's duty to spread, you know what I mean? But yeah, like you're trying to, I think what you're trying to cover is the whole, they, like you said, they're cutting them at the knees, so they're crippling them, and then from there they're kind of raising them in their, what's the word, with their culture, you know, trying to teach it, bring them up their ways. And sign of that, I think there's a horse animal thing, or there's, as you look at the beginning, there's a bunch of different species in the Shi'ar Empire. So they basically, and Professor X covered that, like, oh, you guys wipe out different galaxies, I guess, and then you try to bring them all into one and force them, but you strip them of their ways, and they just, you know, so that's like assimilation. I think he even says the word assimilation. I think he does say assimilation. So. Yeah, and so like that was, I'm glad that he was like kind of educating them on that and just kind of giving them a reality check with that, you know, and so they're just kind of like learning that, whatever. But then the globe on the desk starts spinning hardcore and kind of flashes or something, and then Xavier looks back and the Shi'ar royalty's gone, and it just shows desks of different skeletons there, and then he's like, what the heck's going on here? And then homeboy here, his one of his favorite X-Men shows up in a gigantic form, and it's Gambit, and then he's looking at him, and then Gambit slowly transforms into just a skull like Gambit, like he's dead or whatever, and then he like shoots Xavier with a green beam like they were doing at Genosha, and he kind of disintegrates, whatever. And then he wakes up, or he comes to, and like he's kind of like a seizure moment. He like falls over, and then Leandra, like truly scared, huh? Yeah, like he's like in shock or something, you know. And so Leandra's like, oh, what's going on here? And he's like, I gotta get home, you know, the undoable or something like that happened. And she's like, we almost have the council convinced, if we go now, then you're only proving their point right. And he's like, basically, I don't give a fuck. I need to get home to my X-Men, you know. And then so that was kind of basically it, right? Like, I got to get home. It ended on him saying, I got to get home to my X-Men or something. And then, which is like a callback to the last time we saw him, which was the last thing he said was my X-Men, which is pretty cool. But I was really confused in that part. And I know there's an epilogue at the end, but you want to touch base on that real quick? So then epilogue, it surprised me. I don't know how surprised you were. Was you surprised, or did you kind of expect that? Not that. No, I was kind of surprised. I was like, it was just, go ahead. So then we open up in a scene. This guy is running down this, look like almost abandoned street. And I feel like it's kind of like a mirage, or kind of like a mental thing. A dream world. Yeah, like a dream world, something. And so this guy, a Bolivar Trask, is running. And he's like, I gave you my DNA so you can have access to the master mold or something like that. And then he gets shot by this character. And then he looks up, and it reveals Mr. Sinister. And he basically says, this is just the beginning part of the plan. It's in the past now. We got to move forward with whatever's to come. And it just shows him. And I was telling Mr. T-Bear here that green is kind of like his theme, or his like color. And those Sentinels in the last episode were shooting green beams. I was like, man, that should have been like an obvious connection we made with Mr. Sinister. Because they didn't shoot green beams before, right? It was like red beams, whatever. Yeah. And so Mr. Sinister is obviously behind the Genosha attack and has a master mold and all that. And so that's kind of where we leave off on with that.
Like I was gonna say, I was kind of left in like cluelessness when Gambit showed up. You know, I was kind of happy, and then it went south really quick. Like you said,
did you think it was gonna be like a conversation or something?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be something, but it was more like a realization. Like he's like, because even Professor X was like, "What's going on?" And then, like you said, he got shot and his flesh actually burns away. I think it was callbacks to like the grave sites of that. Remember, like Gene saw earlier. So I think Professor X just came to realization of like, this is what's gonna happen if you continue on this path you're on or whatever.
Question for you.
Go for it.
So when that happened to Professor X at the end of the episode, do you think someone shot him that message, or do you think he's so powerful that he can get those messages on his own? Like, why do you think that happened? Do you think someone triggered that, or do you think?
Yeah, like I said, I was clueless. Like, those are the type of things I was thinking. Like, what? Why do you think of that? First of all, because like all this stuff was already happening.
Yeah, because like one thing too, like to keep in mind with the last episode or last season, there, the last episode of the last season, animated series. Professor X is dying. The X-Men are like, we gotta get Lilandra, but there's like, well, send her a message. It's like, well, it won't get to her until like 9 months or some stuff like that. But then they're like, well, Magneto can enhance my power to send out a message, talking to Jean Grey, to Lilandra, and maybe her technology can help, whatever. And so I'm just thinking, like, is that the same concept here? Like, if someone shot Xavier a message, was it delayed? And and then so I don't just saw a lot of unknown factors here.
Is that a theory? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like they shot the message to him.
Because then that kind of would confirm maybe Magneto's alive, you know. So.
Oh yeah.
Because maybe then Magneto's the only one that did that, but I'm sure there's other people out there that could pass it on. But from our memory and knowledge, the only person that we know that could do it was Magneto at the time. But like I said, I was kind of clueless there at the end when Gambit basically turned into like a Sentinel and shot Professor X, and then how quickly he just went from so in love to just, I gotta get I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And then the epilogue part was like, and we were talking about it a little bit, like they introduced Sinister again as the bad guy, but we kind of knew we kind of knew from the earlier, because he cloned Cable at the beginning, did all this. Beast had they leave a sinister trail, you know, and like we knew Sinister was a bad guy. So I guess when I saw Nimrod or whatever, and then had to go back and figure out who he was, I was kind of hoping that it kind of took it to a different villain. But so I was kind of not disappointed with the ending, but like just don't get repetitive. Like Sinister's, we knew he was the bad guy. It was good to see Boulevard Trask though, because I don't know if we saw him earlier, but he's the guy who I
knew he was going to be involved somehow, because like the Master Mold and Sentinel program is basically his program, you know. But I don't know. I'm just like,
overall, let's get into the rating real quick. Okay. Overall episode, I'll go first. Okay. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
So when we do our overall,
to go 2.
When we do our overall, you're gonna do your rating and then like your likes and your dislikes.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I was gonna go 2 because all the other episodes is always low or high because of the lack of Wolverine, and then obviously the last episode of Gambit was a 5 because of Gambit's sacrifice and his. Yeah. So, but this one just like you said in the past, it felt rushed. Like, all right, Storm's getting her powers back. That felt rushed. Well, then again, now thinking about it, it's part 2 of what was going on already. So I guess that wasn't really rushed. But in one whole episode, they bring back, Professor X is alive. Professor X is walking. Professor X still has his powers.
They kind of threw a lot at you, huh?
Yeah, in that one episode. So I'm going 3, and of course the lack of Wolverine, my boy. So as you can see, I'm going episode 6 for me. Is this episode?
He wasn't even in this episode at all, huh?
Wolverine.
Besides the intro.
So not even that. I was thinking to myself, not just the lack of Wolverine, but the lack of X-Men in general. It was like, 3 out of 5 for me. All right, and you? How many toads?
I have 3 toads out of 5.
3 toads out of 5.
And I was talking to T-Bear. I was like, can we change our rating system? He's like, yeah, I got you. We'll do it next episode. I was like, all right, cool. Because it was just a joke to use toad.
Said, I understand the assignment.
Woo, shoot.
3 out of 5. Well,
yeah. 3 toads. All right. Woo, I don't know. I just might keep Toad. I don't know how. Anyways, like same with you. Like it was just a lot happening right away, and they just throw Professor X at us, and like I told you before, like I feel like we need longer episodes. I would be okay with hour episodes, you know, because I just feel like we're taking away from our characters and things like that when we do like a Jubilee, then Storm, and then okay, now we have Professor X and his love affair, and then Storm, and I'm just like, man, there's just so much more story we could tell with these things. Because then even in those, because I feel like they're like 15-minute episodes, like 15 minutes of Charles Xavier, 15 minutes of Storm. So I'm just like,
so it's the fans need Toad.
We might keep Toad. All right, Toad staying. We listen to our fans. Yeah. So yeah, I just like it was just too much, whatever. But one highlight that I did love about this episode, I love Storm's new look and transformation, and I just love that they even included like the idea of Native Americans and that whole real history, and then the idea of like the Shi'ar, you know, assimilating,
following suit, and kind of doing the same.
Yeah, I love that. Like I said, the one thing I didn't like is just like too much going on here and just longer episodes, you know. And then I just didn't like the whole Shi'ar design and the whole space stuff. Like I was excited for it, but it didn't really amaze me as I thought it was going to be.
You mentioned Storm's new suit, and I kind of thought, I was like, hey, she's Black Storm, which not knocking, like, no, she's black. Storm's black from Africa, but her suit was black. So obviously she's African American or black, or I don't know what she is, but her suit was black. So I was like, she's Black Storm now. But then, like you said, she kind of had a crown thing. So I was but it kind of gave me like witch vibes. I was like, is she evil now? But she still had the yellow, and I think she had the X logo. So I was like, well, so, but that, go ahead.
I was say, well, like kind of like what you're saying, like she said she's embracing like her fears, and so like maybe that's kind of a part of it too.
And
like,
maybe she needs more power, like kind of like the Star Wars. When, like go back to Star Wars, when they embrace the Sith, they're more powerful, right? At a price, so they're evil, but they're more powerful than they would be if they chose the good side of the Force. Whatever. But anyway, back to Storm. That black outfit was actually what she wore in the original giant size X-Men when she was introduced. So that's the outfit she's wearing. I didn't realize it was on there, but that's what she's wearing. Little more exposure, but yeah, it was overall, like I said, 3 out of 5 for me. Could have been better. A lot of it felt rushed for the first time. It felt rushed. I think the Madeline Pryor whole episode, we were kind of saying the same thing. Oh, it felt kind of rushed, but like I didn't think Madeline Pryor was as important, you know, compared. But like Storm being Storm, she's like important, so you think it would take more time.
Do you think Madeline Pryor died?
In Genosha?
Yeah, because remember it showed a big green light and it looked like it was coming at her, and we never see her again in that episode. Or do you think
that's right after Cable leaves?
Yeah.
That's crazy now, yeah.
Or do you think she's just under the rubble and she'll come out of nowhere? This next episode is going to be an important episode.
Well, like you said, the director tweeted out, like, oh, you thought that was bad. Like, y'all better wait.
Y'all better wait for it.
This will be episodes. He said 6 through 8 is pretty. So, I'm looking forward to see where they go from here. But overall, it was kind of like the same. They were both the what are they called, antagonists, pro people, or main people of these episodes. Storm and Professor X are both kind of going through the same issues at different locations in the world, universe, galaxy, whatever. They both found a person that they can love and live out the rest of their life with, but they keep getting called back to what they were meant to be, basically, you know. And there's no real escaping who you truly are, basically, is what I got from it. Regardless if your galaxy's away or if you're on the same planet, you know, Storm still found out of Genosha and she felt guilty and she felt like she had to go back. Same with Professor X. So
do you think she actually meant that when she said she thought about being human before? So like that's the whole concept that she was struggling with then, you think? Like
her and Jean both, right? Like I think there just obviously was a really, not a moment of weakness, but like a moment of realization for Jean. Like she was about to, not Jean, it was Madeline Pryor. Madeline Pryor was about to bring a baby into this world, and she just knows, like, based off, or from her memories. Let's get
her lies.
Her lies that they both know like what the world is like. And I think anybody thinks like that. You're like, damn, this is a mean, hateful world that we live in. We're bringing life into it. We can only hope that it's better for them. And I think as parents, that's just what we kind of think of and go through on the daily. Like, you obviously want your kids to experience better than you did. So I think in that moment they just thought of it, and then
but they didn't really meant it.
And then I think like that just gets tiring too. Like for Storm, like that's her whole life has just been as a mutant, just been looked at with hate and whatnot.
And I think on top of her too, like being African American too, you know what I mean? That also builds onto another layer of just discrimination, segregation, even just being a mutant. So 2 times the kind of struggle there, you know.
So I think she doubted being a mutant sometimes, but I think she obviously we come to find out she wants to be a mutant, so yeah, it's a lot. It's chaos.
Yeah, it's chaos. Native American Cyborg.
Anything else you want to talk about, touch on the episode? Anything else you catch or caught that we can go back and talk about real quick before we take a break, bring on special guests, wrap it up? We're at 57 minutes.
No, I don't think anything too major this time around. But
what do you think what's going to happen next episode?
Like I said, I think this episode's going to be really
I think we're all kind of tied together now, right? For the most part.
Yeah, so this next one's going to be a big one. And no 2 stories in this one, please. Just a whole story dedicated to this, and the last one a whole story too.
Yeah, because last time you said with part 1 of Life Death, he was like, I hope they just pick up part 2.
And we did it.
But it was a good episode. That was a good episode. But that was the only downside was of it didn't just get Life Death over with already.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been no? Because in the Gambit part at the end wouldn't have lined up.
Yeah.
So not my favorite episode.
You know what would have been interesting though if we did do it that way, where we did a part 1 and then we went to the part 2 right after that, and then then at the end where it shows that Geonosis scene, so then you're thinking like, well, what the hell happened? You know what I mean? So it makes you wait for the next episode instead of just doing like part 1, then the Geonosis episode, and then part 2. I think that would have made you more like,
you're contradicting yourself, because last time you're like, I'm invested in Life Death. I gotta come back now, even though this episode happened. I gotta come back for Life Death. So I think either way, like it's like you said, they're making you wait for it, and then this one was just not what we thought.
Yeah.
So. But
I guess I like I said, 3 out of 5 toads this time.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Oh, Mac, want to hit the signal?
We'll be back.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the special guest to wrap up this episode. Okay, we are test. We are back with our special guest, Mackie. You're not on yet. So just to introduce the game. Well, I guess we'll introduce our special guest real quick. Our special guest, once again.
Where do I look?
At the camera.
Oh.
Marisol P. Special guest, future X-Men Superman. What was your takeaway for this episode?
Like you
Overall,
guys said,
quick, like, summarize
just it was too short. Too short. That's it.
Okay.
I feel like when I'm starting to get into it, it's like credits.
Episode,
you know what I mean?
Huh?
When I'm starting to get into it, credits. And I'm just like, okay.
I can get that.
I'm not going to watch it again. I'm just kidding.
Hi. Thanks for your input, Marisol. We're going to play another game. Kind of like last week. I'm going to show you guys a picture of a mutant, all right? Of an X-Men mutant, or X-Men Marvel character, whatever. It's going to have a name on it. You guys have to guess the superpowers.
Oh, okay.
Based off of the name, based off of their image, all right? Some mutants have
an advantage because I can't see.
some mutants have more than one power. Keep that in mind. So here we go.
Do we just need one power?
You can guess one power. It's up to you guys. All right. The first mutant that we have is Cypher. You see it?
Yeah.
Cypher. All right. Can you guys see it on the screen?
Can I see that again?
Huh?
I want to see. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Who's going to go first? Marisol put invisibility hacker. That's a good guess. What do you got?
Is that the truth?
Cypher's powers is the ability to translate any language, both human and alien. It may not come in handy during a fight, but at least he's got jokes.
So, do you know what I'm referencing with Archer?
Archer.
So Archer is it's a TV show, and they that's the only reason I know it because he made a joke about it, and they said, "Yeah, it'd be like Cypher."
Oh, is that cartoon one?
Yeah, it'd be like Cypher, the lamest X-Men that know all languages.
Well, there you go. Cypher knows all languages, translate everything. All right, the next.
Okay, because he can decipher.
Yeah, okay, I just got that
all
too.
languages, so he's bilingual, or multilingual.
Multilingual.
Kind of like you.
Okay.
Chola. What does Chola mean?
Gangster, girl, gangster.
I don't think that's
Midnight
right.
gangster.
Is it Chula? What's Chula?
CHOLLAA.
Chola is a gangster.
I think he said cactus or something. What? How do you say cactus? Nopal. No, that's
Nopal.
right.
Maybe I was wrong.
Oh, it's flower.
Flor.
All right, on your own. All right, next one. Here we go.
I'm over here to Cypher.
We have Zeitgeist.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Zeitgeist.
Look at his suit. His name. Did we freeze? I think we froze. Did we freeze? Oh no, it's just behind. Okay, we're good. Zeitgeist. Should we give him time?
I don't know, you guys.
Bank robber thief. That's not a mutant power. Come on, like some extra ability. That's bank robbing and thief. All right, what do you got? Acid spewing ability.
Oh, what the heck?
Zeitgeist. His power is vomit.
Oh.
That's what Zeitgeist is good at. He's an acidic vomit that can burn through just about anything. Definitely not the kind of guy you want to go on a pub crawl with.
That's disgusting.
Pub crawl with?
Okay. Pub crawl. Spits vomit. I think he died because the vomit came through and burned through his guts.
Yeah.
All right. This one goes to Frog. Next one. No, I do think we did freeze there. Let me reset.
Okay.
Reset.
Technical difficulties.
Webcam full. Special guest. All right, it's gonna go. We're good. As long as they see the fan favorite.
5 toads.
5 toads. What's Toad's mutant abilities?
Mutant abilities. I feel like he's. Oh my god. Well, you know,
I'm kind of guessing here.
Toad. We got Toad.
Hint? A hint? Oh.
The hint is Toad.
Can I see it again?
Yeah. Not 3 toads, just 1 toad.
One toad.
1 toad. All right. 3, 2, 1, flip. Spit stuff from mouth. Jump long distances. Long tongue. Swim, turns into a toad, or turns people into toads. Toad has animalistic powers that include superhuman leaping abilities, an elongated tongue that can dart out, and a flexible bone structure. It's still hard to look past the fact he's essentially a frog. His mutant abilities is he's a toad.
He's a toad, okay.
In human form.
I kind of knew that, but I just didn't know how to word it.
How to word it?
Yeah.
Just put he's a toad.
He's a toad.
He's a frog. Froggy.
Froggy.
Next one up, we got Mimic.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Mimic, based off his looks, his name. What do you think he does? His mutant abilities. Mimic.
I don't know the words. Okay.
You don't know what Mimic means?
Well, yeah, but I don't know, like, okay.
For the record, Marisol bought this mask herself and would only come on to the show if she could wear it. Superfan. Future superfan. 3.
Why do you only start counting when he's done?
I don't know how to spell, so don't.
Is it heroes with the ES?
Yeah.
Yep.
I had it.
And flip. Power of flight can mimic powers, can turn into other superheroes. Good one. Mimic's power isn't that original. He can mimic anybody near him. That said, it essentially leaves Mimic only as useful as those in his vicinity. As long as they're in his vicinity. So I think in this picture, he's got Archangel's wings.
Oh, okay.
Looks like Beast's feet and hands. Maybe Cyclops' eyes.
So anybody in his vicinity.
In his vicinity. Okay. So like if you lock him in a room, he's worthless.
I'll have to look into that.
All right, this next one up. Frog wanted a little more of a challenge, so I'm going with people that he might not know.
I do not know that one.
Okay.
Based off of the name and appearance.
Okay.
This is a bit of a shocker here.
Okay,
we got
thanks for throwing a.
Okay, start counting down.
Stacy X.
Stacy Brosh.
I'm really short.
Please, we're good.
I'm really short.
Snake-like abilities. Snake. Seducer. Those are good guesses.
Seducer.
Stacy X. A former prostitute.
Oh.
Stacy X has the power to control pheromones, meaning she can control your bodily functions like orgasms, nausea, and vomiting with a touch.
I would say she got that one.
That's snake stuff. Like that's very snake stuff.
Dang. So she's really. Ooh.
All right. We got 2 more.
Okay.
Next one up, we got Lifeguard.
Oh gosh. Now these are just being made up at this point.
No, I'm gonna go into detail here in a bit. So Lifeguard, we got Lifeguard. Go away. Let me see. Lifeguard. Based off of her look and her name, what do you think her powers are?
When in doubt.
When in doubt.
My marker is not marker.
Not markering. Let me see. I can read it. It's alright. It's a good guess. All right. 3, 2, 1, flip. Super strength, lion-like abilities. Marisol put female Wolverine. Lifeguard's powers are peculiar in that she can detect danger to human life and automatically gains any powers needed to save those at risk.
Oh, okay.
Take her with you when you go hiking or swimming.
Why don't we see a lot of her?
Yeah, we don't see none of these.
She's basically.
It is a pretty good power though. Like, I don't know.
Kind of reminds of Darwin. You know who Darwin is?
Yeah. Yep.
So original.
All right, the last one. So before we do the last one, The title of this, I found it on the internet. It was titled 27 X-Men with Truly Awful Mutant Powers. So I thought it would be a little fun, a little hard. So last one. We got Jubilee. Guess her powers. Based off her looks and her name. If you've been watching the show, you know what her powers are. I just thought it was funny that she was included
in that list.
And, you know, that just... The hate is real. We're not frozen. We're good. We're finishing strong. Minute 13. Three, two,
I had to fix the
one.
C and I made it.
Marisol put cleaner. And Frog put firework like powers, hardcore gamer. Anyone who's seen the X-Men animated series from the 90s loves Jubilee, no doubt. That said, her ability to create explosive light blasts with her hands essentially means she shoots fireworks at people. It looks cool, but it's not very intimidating. Those are the notes from the episode, or from that article. So shout out to that article. That was fun.
Oh my goodness.
And here come our little
Here
X-Men.
come our little mutants. So we got to wrap up this show. Any final sayings? Come here. Come here. Go ahead, Frog. Wrap it up for us. What do you want to say?
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate our viewers and listeners. Thanks for T-Bear for hosting as always and putting us together. Thanks for my colleague over here for a good game. And yeah, look forward to this next episode. I think this next episode is going to be a banger.
Mom.
On your knowledge of this guy, what would his mutant powers be?
Destroyer or whatever.
Turning into a little rock. All right. Anything you want to say? Special guest, thanks for joining us, taking time out of your day.
You're welcome. I
We're
just
being
feel
invaded right now.
Oh, we're getting
Another one too. An invisible force. All right, thank you guys for watching. We're gonna wrap up this episode. We'll see you next week, next Saturday, Sunday. We'll see you when that time comes. Everybody throw it up. X Frog. Hopefully we have the merch
That's
next week.
Wakanda forever. No.
Alrighty guys, thanks for watching. Peace.
That's